Hello and welcome back to The Rise. I'm Sarah Cannell, and this is the show that helps you break through to your next level in business and life from the inside out. Welcome to episode 2. Absolutely thrilled and elated to be together today because we're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to do. If you are a coach, an expert, an entrepreneur, you are a thought leader, what are the 5 things what do we need to do as thought leaders this year to make our ultimate impact and also to receive our and create our ultimate income, our abundance, our revenue? So most of the people that I have the gift of coaching in Thought Leader Academy, where we help experts become best-selling authors and in-demand speakers, want to both make a massive impact, change and transform lives, and also generate abundance and wealth and prosperity for themselves, their family, and the causes they care about. So we are going to, as we always do and will do on this show, we're going to talk about that rise from wherever you are now to break through to your next level, whether that's in revenue, whether that's in reaching more people, whether that's in your creative genius, whether that's in your inner identity, because it always starts. We talked about in episode 1, there's the yin and the yang. There's the internal rise of how we think, act, feel, what we believe about ourselves, our identity. And then there's the outer rise, what actions we take that help us get to that next level and be the leader we came here to be. So super thrilled and honored that you're here, that you're back. Remember, please do subscribe to the show if you haven't already, so that we can continue bringing phenomenal content to you for free as our gift to you, and bring in some other incredible thought leaders that will help us make the roadmap. Remember, we don't want to model ourselves on the summit. I already have an island and I'm retired, but what took that person in their rise into powerful, positive global change and impact? That's what we're here doing. And I'm really excited to do a episode today, like I said, focused on the 5 things we're going to do. So this is on the action side of our rise. However, in order to do them, we also have to always match our inner identity as the person who is just ready to take that on. Okay, so let's start with number 1. I'm going to spend a little more time here because honestly, this is the one in this particular moment, if you're watching the show when it's actually coming out, that will make probably the biggest difference in terms of your success this year. I really do. It will set the stage anyway for the other 4. So number 1 on our list of the 5 things you need to do this year to make your biggest impact and income is to expand when others contract. Now, this happens on 2 levels. What happened a lot in 2023, that I saw at least, is that there was a contraction in the world. There were world events going on. There were economic contractions, and it made sort of a little holding, a longer time for people to make decisions, a little bit of hesitancy or actually a freeze in moving forward, taking action, investing. And what happened then for a lot of experts and coaches and entrepreneurs is, of course, of similar fear about, oh my gosh, maybe my sales numbers aren't as up as high as they were. I don't have as many clients as I used to have, or this strategy that's been working beautifully isn't working in the same way. And that can create a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear, maybe even panic and overwhelm in some cases. So we're going to let all that go. And we're going to internally rise into a powerful level of leadership that is so masterful that even if others around you are experiencing fear or contraction, or even the world is experiencing fear and contraction, that you are going to be the one to actually bring the breath back into the people you're here to serve, to be the lighthouse, shining that light through the confusion, the fear, and the darkness. If we contract when the people we serve contract, then we're just joining in more of the fear, and it will be a lot longer before that abundance and that transformation gets to happen. And so I'm asking a lot by saying of myself, because I'm doing this right along with you. I'm asking a lot of us to say, hey, where other people are massaging that down, where other people are contracting, we're gonna actually expand. We're gonna make more content instead of less. We're going to make more invitations to work together instead of just going and doing what, when I lived in London, my British friends would call the duvet dive, which just means go back to bed, pull the covers over, watch Netflix, kind of ride it out. Writing it out is not only going to cost you and the people you serve their transformation and your abundance now, but it's going to then be all that recovery time when you could actually be the one to be the stand to tell people, this is temporary, this is going to pass. I've got you. I'm showing up for you full on, and you get to say yes to yourself because I'm going to be the one showing up. People will invest. We'll talk about this in some of the other 5 steps. People will invest with the person who has shown up for them, contacted them, reached out for them, been on their social media feed the most of the top, that they will invest with one of the top 3 people that has shown up, reached out, or been present for them the most in recent days. That's the truth. So if you contract when others contract, I think I'm not going to make as many videos, offer as many opportunities to work together, show up and serve, then they're going to work with somebody else. And you might be the person and the only person that has their particular miracle, their way that that it's all going to make sense to them through your book or your course or your program or your modality, your business, whatever that is. So I want to illustrate this so it's not so theoretical. I want to give a real life example where this got imprinted on me in a really big way. So if you meet me in person, those of you that have, I'm fairly short. I'm 5 feet 2 inches tall. So on the short side of adults. And I you know, like I do weightlifting and, I'm definitely like someone who's very athletic, but I, don't look like some hulking, formidable person. And I had the opportunity in my public high school, which is very cool and rare, to row crew. So if you've seen, people in a boat, like rowing and our school, even though it was a public school and we competed against all these very fancy boarding schools and private schools along the East Coast, had we had incredible coaches and we had an incredible training in this crew program. I'd never heard of crew. I didn't know what it was, but my friends were doing it. And I trudged on down to the boathouse and tried out. And it was grueling and intense. And if you've ever rode on an ergometer in a sprint, there were buckets they lined up so people could throw up in the buckets. Like, it was that kind of a sport. And I loved it. It was perfect for me as a teenager just to learn grit and resilience. But the most important thing probably that came out of that experience was my relationship with my crew coach. So Steve Weir will be eternally grateful to you, shouting you out. And what he noticed, because he was a strategist, is that he would watch video like people do in football and basketball and other sports. He would watch video of all the boats that would row in these races. You'd usually have, 6 or 8 boats lined up, and you row 2,000 meters or whatever the distance was. And what happened is that right around the minute and a half mark into let's say it was an 8-minute race, there would be this physical breakdown that would happen in the body because the body was going from kind of a sprint, I believe it's an anaerobic state, into a aerobic state. So what that feels like, you don't have to understand the science. What it feels like is excruciating pain, a shortness of breath, dizziness, overwhelm. It's like almost like I can't do it. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. And what, of course, any rational human being would do when experiencing that kind of physical pain is that you're going to lighten up. If you feel it in a running race, you're going to slow down for a minute. If you feel it on the basketball court, you might like take a minute and, you see players kind of hunch down. And so what our coach did, Steve, is he said, we're going to do something very different this race. He said, what I want you to do is when you feel that pain, that burn, it's going to happen somewhere between 60 to 90 seconds. Instead of lightening up, I want you to take the hardest 20 strokes of your life. I want you to take that oar and dig down. I want you to push with your legs. I want you to pull with your arms harder than you've ever pulled in your life, like your life depended on it. And we're going to take 20 strokes. He called it a power 20. And what happened is that we won every single race for the rest of the season and another season. And we would, when every other boat would, because everyone's going through the same pain, we all have a physical body, and they would lighten up and we went harder. We dug deeper, we went harder, we went faster, we showed up bigger. And we would call it walking on a boat, which means you start to, jump your boat further and further until there was what's called open water. Once you got open water, then it's everybody else got to try to catch up and close the gap. Not that it can't happen, but we would then get exhilarated because your body would go aerobic and wasn't burning still hard, but it wasn't quite so excruciating. And then we would just soar. And we would make that boat fly. I can still feel it in my body. And we won a national championship and an international championship. And even though we were smaller than other boats and didn't have the money of these other schools, we won every single gold medal that you could win in that particular, you know, sport at that time. And that's power 20, expanding when others contract, showing up bigger when others shrink, was the reason that we were able to create that kind of result. That's the result I want you to have this year. It's going to require inner toughness. It's going to require faith. It's going to require resilience and the belief that your work is important and powerful enough to withstand your own feelings of contraction, your instinct, like everyone in the rowing race is like, oh, no, the economy, whatever, numbers are going to show up bigger. And when you do, you will be the one. You will be the one that someone was, God, they just kept being there for me. They kept reaching out. They kept creating. They kept giving me that dose of inspiration, the how-to, the transformation that I needed. That's the person I'm investing with. That's who I'm inviting you to join me in being this year. Okay, that's number one. Number two, right? Authenticity more than ever before trumps everything. So what can be very tempting is to look around at what other people are doing and go do it. So dancing on TikTok or, like there's always a new thing, it's Reels, it's YouTube Shorts, and you should do any of those that are authentic to you. But what we don't want to do is try to play a role of thought leader, best-selling author, CEO without it passing the authenticity test, because there's so much fake book life and filtered photographs and nonsense. And, I had a client who worked in Silicon Valley, and she just said every meeting they would have someone come in and say, okay, what are we doing for pyro? And it was the person in charge of, fireworks or fire fountains or whatever fire they were going to. It was just all this showmanship, right? And that's great if it's authentic. If you're a pyro person, then do it. Light off fireworks, skywrite. But what we want to do more than ever this year is be the truest version of ourselves. And I used to love the show Top Chef. And what would happen is almost every time, and it happened on Project Runway and any of those kind of shows where people come and compete with their art, that the person would start off and they would be kind of looking what other people are doing, and their work would be a little bit derivative of other great masters. And then at some point, the ones who made it to the end and the ones who won the competition, they would be the ones that hold in to all that great inspiration they were getting from others, their roots, whether what their grandma taught them in South Carolina as they were growing up, or when they lived all over the world because their family moved all the time between Asia and Africa and Australia and the United States, and they would pull in like the version of them that got imprinted on with all of those experiences, right? So authenticity. So what I'm inviting you to think about, and if you don't have the workbook that goes along with this podcast, please right now push pause, or don't even push, keep listening, and just message on Instagram at Sarah Cannell, Rise. So you can get the workbook. So you have all this written out for you. And especially if you're like me and you listen to podcasts while you're working out or while you're, doing stuff around the house, that you will have the workbook so that you have this spelled out for you and you can refer back to it and even fill in the blanks and do the work for your Rise this year. Remember, at Thought Leader Academy, the way that we do it here on the Rise, we're not just going for inspiration, we are going for transformation. And that involves us taking action. So make sure you message in the comments or DM me the word Rise, RISE, so you can immediately get access to the workbook. It's completely free. Just goes along with the podcast so that you truly do rise this year in a way that is unparalleled to anything you've done before. All right, back to our list. Authenticity. What can you do to be a little more authentic? Like, let's say, I'll share one more example. So I had a business coach a few years ago, and she was wonderful, and she was very, very businessy. You know what I mean? Like she just, she taught business, she taught strategy, she was a great strategist, and she was buttoned up and she was on point, and it was serious in a way, like she was fun, but she was, she was like getting after it and getting results for her people. And she hosted a live event and invited me and others to come. And there was a room of 100 and something people. And she shared a story of how she had originally wanted to be a Broadway actress in musicals and loved to sing. And she was a very talented singer. And how, she stopped singing years and years before. She never sung in years because she then got the new dream to be a coach. And it was just sort of a story about how our dreams can change and our path can evolve, and the thing we thought we were going for might change. That was the point of the story. So we thought. And something came over her, she told me later, that prompted her to end the event. It was a 2-day event or something. And she decided to end the event. And I had no idea she was going to do it. And I might cry when remembering it because it was so incredible to witness. And she came out and she said, look, I've taught you all the strategy I can teach you. I hope that you'll continue. And she was inviting people to join her in her coaching program. And she said, but the best way I can think to just seal my invitation to the work I hope to get to do with you. And then this music starts playing, and it sort of began to hit the room in different moments that she was going to sing. And she had made it very clear she hadn't sung in many years, and that was just a part of her life that was finished. But what she did now was even more rewarding. And this music is playing, and you can see like that veneer of strategist, badass coach, like that wasn't there. Like she saw the vulnerability, and the music starts up, and she sang the song about dreams from The Greatest Showman, if you've seen that film. And it was one of the most incredible moments, honestly, of my life, to see someone break down all their walls and just give of themselves. She had something in her. She had a note, pun intended, in her that wasn't being brought into the coaching work she was doing. And when she integrated those parts in that authentic way, that room exploded. It cracked open our hearts. It cracked open our minds. She definitely had many, many, many more people join her for coaching because she was willing to bring her full self. So that's what I'm inviting you to do this year. I don't sing that way. I wish I did. But you've got something that's probably not being integrated in how you're showing up. You're probably showing up as professional or teacher or coach or guide or whatever it is, an expert. And what's the note that isn't in there yet? And how could you add it? Okay, number 3, quality time. All right. So the stats are right now that people need at least 7 to 9 hours of bingeable content with you, time interacting with you, whether that's recorded, if you have a podcast or you have a recorded, class of some, different, masterclass series, you have something like that, or live on Zoom or in a room, people need a minimum of 7 to 9 hours of time with you before they even would consider working with you further, investing with you if you're a coach or an expert in some way, probably even buying your book. Okay. 7 to 9 hours. So what I'm going to offer you to do is make that happen as easily and quickly as possible for the people you serve. Again, if you've got an online show, a podcast, if you do a book and you make, and the books the way we teach them, you will know exactly how to do this. All 5 of these things you can actually do with a best-selling book. And if you're not already in our upcoming bootcamp, it is free. Again, just message Rise, and we will make sure to get you a ticket. I will gift you a ticket so that you can hit all 5 of the things we're going to talk about today. So quality time, that can be through your writing, it can be through your speaking, it can be through social media, it can be through you want to make every person that comes into your world get those 7 to 9 hours as quickly as possible. So you can use the workbook. Remember, just message Rise so you can get the workbook and work through what's that going to look like for you. Is it a combination of podcast and social media? Is it social media and your book? Is it your book and speaking? Like, what are the ways as quickly and omnipresently as possible that people can get their 7 to 9? That's just the intro. It's not like after 9 hours, they're good to go and they don't want to hear from you again. They were going to want more. All right. That's number 3. Number 4, showing versus telling. So most of you probably do this, but I'm going to make a guess, and includes me, that we don't do it as much as would be really of service to the people that are just getting to know us. Show versus tell is a writing axiom. It's a writing directive that says, again, instead of saying, and then this happened and this, then my mom, just show the person, write a scene. Okay, that's in writing. What I mean in terms of being a thought leader here, in terms of your rise in 2024, is that you're going to want to show people the incredible results, the heroic heroes and sheroes that you serve and the amazing things that happened for them over the last, months or weeks or years that you've been working with them. So we all see testimonials, people, if you get the Rise workbook, I show some of ours as examples so you can see the different fun ways. Yes, you can do screenshots from people posting on social media. You can do make your own on Canva, picture of someone. And if you're a health coach and the person was really struggling, they weren't sleeping well, their digestion was off, they were feeling brain fog. And after working with you for 12 weeks, they've released 20 pounds. They feel crisp in the morning. They feel their digestion is regular. They feel so much happier. Their brain health is all online. You can share that. You can create a testimonial. They can make a video. You can do all of those kind of things. You probably do this if you don't immediately. If you don't already coach with people and you don't have those testimonials, go offer to do some work for people as a gift and say, in exchange for me coaching you or teaching you this or guiding you through this, I would be so grateful for you to create a video and a picture and we can write up your results. So if you don't do it, start doing it. If you don't have testimonials to even put together, go offer some services to people and get them. That's going to be priority one. And then think of fun ways that you can put that together. You can have a highlights reel. You can have a montage. Again, in the Rise workbook, you will see some of our examples, but I wouldn't stop just at videos and, static testimonials. Have you made an infographic of your framework? Have you done a image that captures the journey that you take people on? I think infographics are so fun and so underutilized and so wonderful. And again, it's in the workbook. So I can't show you here if you're listening to this, you can't see it. It's in the workbook, and you'll see some examples of all different fun ways that we've shown our pathway, that we've shown our process, that we've shown if you have results or money back guarantee, instead of just saying it, show it. Have a money back guarantee symbol or a 100% success rate. We created a graphic because everyone so far who has done every step of our Thought Leader process and Thought Leader Academy, if they've just taken the steps, they have finished their book, they have published their book, they've hit the bestseller list on Amazon or other lists, and have spoken at TEDx and whatever it is that the piece of thought leadership they want to work on. And so we created a graphic that showed 100% success rate for people that took all the steps. And so if you have something like that, share it, right? Share it. Okay. Final one, innovation. Now, this can feel very intimidating. Someone's asking us to innovate. It's like, God, I have enough to do. You've seen my to-do list. And I want to assure you, I'm a mother. I have a 12-year-old son. I have a dog. I have a husband that I'm in love with and committed, to spending time with. I have a family. I have a community. There's stuff to do. I have, house. I have whatever. So asking us to also get everything done, run a business, write books, take care of people in our lives, take care of our health, and then, be innovative is just like, oh, thanks. And this is going to be year more than any other is my prediction, my gut feeling, where people are looking for something done just a little bit differently. I am not talking about like we're, broadcasting from the SpaceX rocket or something like that, right? I'm talking about let's go one layer deeper from kind of how either you've been doing it or others have been doing it, and bring a unique twist, bring us something extra. So I'm going to give you two examples, full transparency of what I'm working on so that I can be in this with you. All right. The first is I lead a workshop every year at the beginning of January. I've done it. It's our 19th year in the United States. I did do it in London before that. And it is about your vision for the year. It is about creating, your all the things we're doing on the Rise. Honestly, it was the precursor to this show, and how to get aligned with your vision, how to get clear on what it is, and then how to create an action plan, a success plan to make it happen. So I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I know that if I did the exact same thing I did 19 years ago, for the people, we've had people who've actually come all 19 years, if you can believe that. And that would not be fun for them, right? So I keep the bones that it is about embodiment, that it is about activation, it is about clarity, and it is about a success plan. That's all still going to be delivered. But the way I'm going to deliver it, I get to innovate a little bit each time. So for instance, this January, on January 4th, when we're doing it, it is going to be about Next level vision boards. Okay. We do vision boards. I love them. I do one every year. They're really powerful. Some people love mind movies or Pinterest boards, whatever you like. But I'm going to talk about how to use neuroscience to take it to a new place. We're going to be doing some new techniques of inserting certain energies and intentions and visuals into vision boards or mind movies or Pinterest boards that is going to be even more powerful and effective than the traditional vision board. That's just one example, right? I am teaching 5 practices at that workshop, and 3 of them I've never taught before. Even though I'm delivering the same result, I'm innovating what I teach because people have already learned the other stuff from me. Or if it's someone's first time, I want them to have the newest, greatest, best work I have now. Okay. The other thing is we have been doing, we do 2 live events, people that are in Thought Leader Academy with us. We do 2 conferences each year. We typically do them at a beautiful hotel in Chicago in the fall, and then a destination location in the spring. And it's so special to get together. They're often the highlights of the year, to be in a room together, be inspired, have music, have connection, have great food, and new strategy. And they're wildly exciting and wonderful. I love going to events like that. I love getting to facilitate and bringing that for our people. And this year, I just, for whatever reason, don't think our spring event is going to be in a hotel in the traditional kind of 3-day format that we've done. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. So I'm in deep visioning. I meditate. I take vision quests, which is a technique that I teach in Thought Leader Academy, where you have an intention and walk in nature and sort of get clear and inspired, get some downloads. I do journaling, automatic writing. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to be more of an experiential retreat, hopefully somewhere in nature. We'll see. Maybe it will end up being at a hotel, but then the content's going to be different. Something's going to be different about that spring retreat. And I honestly, it would be easier. It would be a lot easier to just do what we've been doing the last 9 events. It's very, I always bring in new content, but it's very clear schedule. It's the same. It would be easier. But that's not what this year is calling for. It's not what you deserve, those of you that are coming. It's not who I'm called to be. It's about innovating. I don't know what our new kind of event is going to look like, but I am committed to listening, to surrendering to it, to feeling into it, to ideating on it, so that I can create something, again, truly not just inspirational, transformational for our incredible thought leaders. All right. So those are our 5 things. Let's recap. You're going to expand when others contract, or when you feel the desire to contract, and acknowledge that, love yourself, be kind, get some support, and then you're going to go big in whatever way that looks for you. Number 2, you're going to, let's look back and make sure I do these in the right order. All right. Number 2, authenticity. What notes, what parts of you have you maybe not brought in to the work that you do, so that you can ring a note of authenticity that will transcend everybody else out there and really ring your unique note to the world. Number 3, you're going to show versus tell, right? You're going to do show versus tell. You're going to find cool ways of doing infographics and pictures and testimonials, and show people the results that they can have by working with you in a way that's beyond you just telling them about it. Number 4, quality time. As quickly and as awesomely as possible, you are going to make those first 7 to 9 hours available to people through content, through books, through speaking, whatever it is, so that as quickly as possible, people get those 7 to 9 hours they need to truly connect with you, and to know that you're their person, and to feel your heart, and to see that what you do is the solution that they need. And finally, even if it's not easier, it's going to be better. We're going to innovate. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you to put these pieces together. Remember, message the word RISE to us so we can get you the actual workbook and you can see the examples of what we talked about today. Read more about the crew story if that Power 20 interested you. I use it in business. I use it in finances. I use a Power 20 all the time to remind myself that the moment I want to go the least amount of showing up and going big is the moment to do both those things. Okay. And I'm so excited for you to be back for our next episode, where we're going to go deeper into the inner rise, the identity. People say you need an identity to match your vision. Yeah, but how? I'm going to break it down for you right here on the show. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, so we can continue bringing you incredible content, some phenomenal guests on our upcoming episodes, and make sure that you make the biggest, boldest, most positively, globally impacting on this planet rise of your life this year. I'll see you next time.